The worst day of my career started with laughter. Not normal laughter. The kind people make when someone is being humiliated. And the person humiliating me was my own boss. What he didn't know was that in the next few minutes, someone very important was about to walk into that room. It was Monday morning. The whole office was sitting in the conference room for the weekly meeting. My boss, Marcus, loved these meetings. Not because they were productive, but because he enjoyed showing his power. That day, he decided I would be his target. He looked at the report in his hand and shook his head dramatically. "Unbelievable," he said loudly. Everyone in the room looked up. Marcus slowly turned toward me. "This is the worst report I've seen in years." A few coworkers exchanged looks. I stayed quiet. Then Marcus smirked. "Did a high school student write this?" A few people laughed. My face burned, but I didn't say anything. Marcus walked around the table like a judge in a courtroom. "You know what the problem is?" he continued. "You're just not smart enough for this job." More laughter. Inside I felt angry, but arguing with Marcus, he had been targeting me for months. Then he slammed the report on the table. "Honestly," he said, "I could replace you tomorrow." Silence filled the room. Then suddenly, the conference room door opened. Everyone turned their heads. Standing at the door was the CEO. The entire room went silent. Marcus froze. The CEO slowly walked inside. "I hope I'm not interrupting," he said calmly. Marcus immediately straightened his tie. "Of course not, sir. We were just reviewing some poor work." The CEO looked at the report. Then he looked at me and smiled. "Actually," he said, "that report is exactly why I came here." Marcus blinked. "What?" The CEO picked up the report and held it up. "This analysis saved the company nearly $2 million in unnecessary spending." The room went completely quiet. Marcus's face turned pale. "I personally asked for this report," the CEO continued, "and it's one of the smartest financial breakdowns I've seen." Then he looked directly at Marcus. "So I'm curious." He paused. "Why were you humiliating the person who wrote it?" No one spoke. Marcus opened his mouth, but no words came out. The CEO turned to me again. "I was actually looking for you." Everyone in the room stared. Then he said something that changed everything. "I'd like you to join the strategy team starting next week." Gasps filled the room. That team worked directly with the CEO. Marcus looked like he had just been punched. But the CEO wasn't finished. He turned to Marcus one last time. "And Marcus, if this is how you treat talented employees," he paused, "we may need to talk about your leadership." The meeting ended right there. People walked out silently. Marcus didn't look at me once. But as I packed my laptop, one coworker whispered something. "You just destroyed his career." I smiled slightly, because the funny thing was, I never said a single word. The meeting ended in complete silence. No one laughed anymore. People slowly walked out of the conference room, whispering to each other. A few coworkers looked at me with respect. The same people who had laughed just minutes earlier. Marcus stayed frozen in his chair. For the first time since I joined the company, he had nothing to say. As I packed my laptop, the CEO walked over to me. Great work, he said quietly. I've been reviewing your reports for months. Your analysis is the reason we avoided a very expensive mistake. I nodded, still surprised by everything that had just happened. Then he added something that made the whole situation even more unbelievable. I want you on the executive strategy team starting next week. That team worked directly with the CEO and made the biggest decisions in the company. Around the room, a few coworkers stopped walking and turned back in shock. Marcus looked like he had just realized what he had done. The employee he humiliated in front of everyone was now moving higher in the company than him. As I walked toward the door, Marcus finally spoke. Wait, we should talk about this. I paused for a second. Then I looked back at him and said calmly, I thought I wasn't smart enough for this job. And I walked out, leaving the room completely silent.